Hey guys, welcome back to another video. This is Eric from Galaxy. Lucky for me, I got my hands on the S21 Ultra 5G earlier than expected. The launch date here in the Philippines is January 29, but I got a message from my local Samsung store and they told me my pre-order was ready. So here's a shout out to the staff at Samsung SM Pampanga. This is going to be an unboxing and review video for the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra 5G, and as you can see in front of me, I've got a couple of other items, namely the Samsung Tab, Galaxy Buds Pro, and Smart Tag. So I just wanted to show the freebies that I got with my pre-order. So with that said, let's get this unboxing video going, guys. Alright, so let me get my trusty pocket knife here and let's open up the box. So before I slice it open, I guess you've noticed that the box of this year's model is very thin. So that tells me that similar to what Apple did, Samsung has started not shipping a charging brick with their flagship phones. So let me open it up real quick here, guys. Okay, let's slide it open. Nothing under there. Here in the Philippines, you usually get a free 5G SIM, so this is what it's for. And you've got VIP after sales here. 24/7 dedicated hotline, free pickup and delivery, service express lane, yada yada. So I got the Phantom Silver color. Looks pretty good, but instead of this, let's put it next to the S20 Ultra here and see what else is in the box. Okay, as expected, there's nothing else here, just Samsung Care documents. Samsung Care Plus documents. Okay, and in here you've got the SIM ejector tool, and let's see what else is in the box. So unfortunately for this year's model, guys, there is no free silicone or jelly case. The S20 Ultra came with one, the Note 20 Ultra came with one, but the S21 Ultra doesn't have anything. It's more of a bare bones package in the box. So let's see what else is in here. Okay, you've got the quick start guide, warranty card. At least they still give it the charging cable. This is a USB-C to USB-C, and I guess that's it. But good news for those that actually pre-ordered. One of the freebies that you get with this phone is the 25-watt fast charger. So you get the charging brick for free. I'm not sure if you can get it for free if you buy the phone after the pre-order, but I'll have to dig around and find out if that's the case. So this year, there is a protective film cover that you have to remove prior to using the camera, and of course, the usual back protector. So if you've noticed on my S20 Ultra last year, I still didn't remove the protector at the back, partly because it's more for added protection, and I've been using my speaking case on this one, so you're not going to be seeing that plastic cover at the back, so I didn't mind taking it off. I just got off this part over here, so at least it doesn't catch on any of the cases. But that's just me, guys, so let me know in the comment section down below if you actually remove the factory applied temporary protector. But of course, I'm going to be removing the one on the camera. There you go. So before we discuss more of the features of the phone, let me just turn the phone on real quick here, guys. Let me put it side by side with the Galaxy S20 Ultra. So while that's booting, as I said before, I pre-ordered the phone, and the freebies that actually come with it is Samsung Galaxy Tab A8.0, so it's an 8-incher. You've got the Galaxy Buds Pro, I got the silver color, and you've got the Smart Tag. I'll discuss this in more detail later on how you're going to be actually using the Smart Tag. So let me set up the phone real quick here, guys. Alright, so here's the phone, guys. So let's talk about the body of the phone. So for this year's S series from Samsung, the S21 Ultra 5G has a glass front, a glass back, and an aluminum frame. But this year, this phone is using the latest and greatest Gorilla Glass protection, which is Gorilla Glass Victus. So it should have a higher chance of surviving drops and would resist scratches a bit more than last year's Gorilla Glass protection. So let's talk about the display on this thing. So this is Samsung's dynamic AMOLED display. It has 120Hz refresh rate and HDR10 plus certified. The peak brightness is a whopping 1500, but that is in direct sunlight and you can't enable it manually. The screen is still slightly curved at the side. So unlike the S21 and the S21 Plus, where the displays are flat, this means if you want to apply a screen protector or a tempered glass on your phone, the best option would still be the white stone dome glass, similar to what I've got installed on my S20 Ultra. Though for this year's model, some might forgo a protector since it has Gorilla Glass Victus, but in my opinion, if you plan to keep the phone for just a year, then sell it off to upgrade to the newer one, I'd suggest in investing in a screen protector and a case. Scratches and dents will of course bring down the resale value of the phone tremendously. So if you want to trade in your S21 Ultra for maybe the S22 or whatever they're gonna call the newest S series lineup, then it's better to take care of it. But if you're gonna keep it long term, then you do have the option of going caseless and not have to put a screen protector or a tempered glass on it. The maximum resolution on this phone is still Quad HD, so it's 1440 by 3200, and this is the only S21 phone in the lineup that has Quad HD. The S21 and the S21 Plus maxes out at Full HD Plus. But unlike last year's model, the S20 Ultra, where 120Hz is only supported at the Full HD Plus resolution and not in Quad HD, this year you can choose to use a Quad HD resolution and 120Hz refresh rate. Though you should know guys that this is still adaptive in nature, so it'll go from 10Hz all the way up to 120Hz depending on what's displayed on the screen. And as I mentioned before, the back has more of a matte finish, so it should resist fingerprints and smudges better than last year's model. This thing is a fingerprint magnet guys. This year's phone though is a bit heavier at 8.08 ounces versus the 7.76 on the S20 Ultra, and the Note 20 Ultra is surprisingly lighter than even the S20 Ultra, sitting at just 7.34 ounces. So we can't discuss a new phone from Samsung without talking about the camera. In my opinion, the biggest and best design difference from the S20 is the better integrated camera module at the back. It's less annoying and less likely to catch on your pants pocket. So looking at it from this angle, you can see that it's a bit more protruding, but probably might be due to the color guys. One change that is not for the better on the S21 Ultra is that there is no microSD card slot support for this year's model. But personally, I haven't used a microSD card in years, and I feel that 256 gig of storage is a sweet spot for phones for now. 128 gig, it fills up too fast for my taste, and if you're one of those people who take loads of photos and videos but never deletes or copy them to your PC, then the 512 gig version would be the better option for you. And that 512 gig version also has more RAM with a whopping 16 gig of RAM. That's a lot more RAM than a couple of laptops that I've used in the past, and I'm not really sure if you're gonna need that much RAM on a phone. Every year, whenever Samsung releases a flagship, it gets called the best display on the market right now. Did they do it again this year? It definitely looks like it. Samsung says the screen is 25% brighter than the S20 Ultra, and it has a 50% better contrast ratio. There is now no option to manually switch between 60Hz and 120Hz, and as I mentioned before, it's adaptive in nature, so it goes from 10 to 120 depending on the content. Okay, there's display, and yeah, so you get the standard, you keep it there, adaptive. So let me check out if you can actually go Quad HD. There you go. And it then asked me to dial down the refresh rate to 60Hz. So now I'm using Quad HD, the best resolution, and 120Hz refresh rate, the best refresh rate. So it's the best of both worlds. Before on the S20 Ultra, you had to settle with either Quad HD or 120Hz. So here you can see it's on Full HD Plus. If I try to go to Quad HD, it's going to say high motion smoothness isn't supported. It's going to change back to normal, which is the standard 60Hz. Since I do notice the difference between a higher refresh rate, I tend to keep the phone at Full HD Plus. But now on this year's model, you don't have to have that compromise. Another new feature that I really like on the phone is that it comes with S Pen support. Though, just take note guys that from all the S20 lineup, the S21 Ultra is the only phone that supports that S Pen. So you're not going to get that support on the regular S21 or the S21 Plus. So I've got my Note 3 here. Let me pull up the S Pen and see if it's going to work. Oh. And right off the bat, this is my Note 3 pen. Hover is working. Not sure if you can see it very well. Let's do the click. Yeah, it works guys. So we know the Note 3 S Pen works. Let me grab my Note 9 here. This is the blue color. Let's pull out the pen and see if you can just start using it natively. Yep. So there is no need to pair the S Pen to the phone for any reason. This is partly because the Bluetooth functionality on the S Pen. So the Note 9 is the first phone that came out with the Bluetooth functionality. It's not supported on the S21 Ultra. Though clicks work fine, the hover works fine, but the air commands that utilize the Bluetooth function and the option to use the S Pen as a remote shutter, those are not going to work. So just as a test, see here, double click, nope, nope. So there is no air commands available even if you use a Bluetooth enabled S Pen. And one good thing here is that the S21 Ultra has the same super low 9 millisecond latency as the Note 20 Ultra. So that means you're going to have a very good writing experience on this phone. So let's try to write the note real quick here. Oh, there, create a note. Let me write. This is a test. Pretty good, guys. But of course, this phone doesn't have any slot to put your S Pen in. So this is kind of one of the disadvantages of using an S Pen on your S21 Ultra. Though Samsung has released a separate silicone case that lets you slot the S Pen on the case. So it's going to make the phone more bulky because of that, but I'm going to wait for Samsung to deliver that case to my house because it's also part of the freebies I actually got from pre-ordering the S21 Ultra. The only problem is I need to redeem it online, so it doesn't come immediately with the phone, so I have to wait for that to be delivered. But once it arrives here guys, I'll do a review and show you how it fits on the phone and how the S Pen works on that case. So in terms of chipset, the version that we get here in the Philippines is the international version, which is the Exynos 2100, which is a 5nm chip. Whereas if you live in America and I think in South Korea as well, they give you the Snapdragon 888. Hopefully this year, Samsung has stepped up their game and actually made the Exynos 2100 chip be more competitive with the Snapdragon 888. I'm going to be doing a couple of benchmarks as well and see if that holds true, because they're saying that this thing can now go toe-to-toe with Snapdragon's latest and greatest. So let's discuss the battery next, guys. The battery is the same 5000 mAh battery as the S20 Ultra, though I expect battery life to be better because of the adaptive refresh rate. Stay tuned to the channel for my battery drain test guys and we'll find out. On the Wi-Fi side of things though, this is where things get interesting. The S21 Ultra is the first phone with Wi-Fi 6E support. Wi-Fi 6E promises more than a gigabit of bandwidth per device. Now, in terms of connectivity features, the S20 Ultra is the first Samsung phone that has support for UWB or ultra wideband. Unfortunately, I never found an actual use for it on the S20 Ultra. But this year, one of the freebies I got with the S21 Ultra is this smart tag from Samsung. So UWB actually adds a directional element to short-range wireless. So if you connect this thing or this smart tag to your keys or something that you're actually prone to misplacing, it will not only tell you when you're near the smart tag, but also tell you which direction it's in. So let's get started with the smart tag. Start, press the button. So you actually can give a name for the smart tag. So if you put car keys, if you attach car keys to it, you just put car keys. So I'll do that. Car keys. Done. Okay, let's ring it. Did some digging around, guys. Actually, the smart tag that comes out with the S21 pre-order is the Bluetooth or low energy version. So this smart tag will work with any phone since it only uses Bluetooth. The UWB or the ultra wideband version will only be coming out a bit later, and unfortunately only the S20 Ultra and the S21 Ultra has support for UWB. You're only going to be able to use these two phones to use that, but that is going to be more accurate. It's going to tell you the direction where your smart tag is, whereas this one, it just tells you that you're in the general vicinity of the smart tag. And of course, you can ring it so you know where it is. Still pretty useful if you ask me, guys, because I tend to lose my car keys a lot. So this smart tag is going with my car keys as soon as this video is finished. So talking more about Bluetooth, Bluetooth 5.2 lets the phone stream to two devices at the same time. So when the Galaxy Buds Pro, the phone actually streams to each earbud independently, rather than going to one main earbud and then getting relayed to the other. It should make for a much more stable connection, but stay tuned to my Galaxy Buds Pro reviews. I'm going to be comparing it with the Galaxy Buds Live, the Galaxy Buds Plus, and the original Galaxy Buds to find out how much of an improvement this Galaxy Buds Pro is over those older models. One thing we do lose though on the S21 Ultra, I'm pretty sure most of you will not notice it, is the loss of MST or magnetic secure transmission. Samsung's older phones used to work with older credit card swipe machines that didn't have the Apple or Samsung Pay specs. But with the loss of MST, you're no longer going to be able to do that with the S21 Ultra. Though it should still work for older phones like the S20 Ultra, the Note 20 Ultra, and older. Now for the cameras or the star of the show. The S21 Ultra has a quad camera setup similar to the S20 Ultra, with it having a 108 megapixel wide, a 10 megapixel periscope or telephoto, a 10 megapixel telephoto as well that has 3 times optical, and a 12 megapixel ultra wide. This is the camera responsible for super steady video. One thing to note here is that all of these camera sensors have optical image stabilization. So this actually means you're going to have less blurry photos and videos. One of the main advantages of the S21 Ultra is the inclusion of a dedicated focus sensor. The 108 megapixel main sensor actually uses a face detection rather than dual pixel autofocus. And on the S20 Ultra, that meant slow and often inaccurate autofocus. We don't have that problem any longer on the S21 Ultra though, because of that dedicated focus sensor. The S20 Ultra is now updated to One UI 3.0, but still do come across scenarios where this phone still has a lot of problem and does a lot of focus hunting. I'll be doing a separate camera test and review to discuss in more detail and do a direct comparison with other phones, so stay tuned for that video, guys. As for the selfie camera, this 40 megapixel shooter has a huge upgrade over the S20 Ultra in that it has an addition of a night mode on selfie cam. So now you're actually going to be able to take night selfies that actually let you see your face. The 100 times zoom is actually not as useless this time around because the viewfinder stabilizes it so it isn't wobbling all over the place. Also, to discuss the fingerprint sensor, Samsung is claiming that it has a larger surface area, so you're not going to have as much problem getting to your phone and it should be more reliable. Let's do a side-by-side comparison with the S20 and the S21. So 1, 2, 3. Okay. One more time. Pretty comparable, guys. One more. So the S21 Ultra actually feels a bit faster unlocking than the S20 Ultra, but I'll be using it for a more extended period and let you know how I feel about that fingerprint sensor. Okay, so what I'm going to be doing, guys, is I'm going to be doing a side-by-side and to benchmark test between the S21 Ultra and the S20 Ultra. I've set them both at 120 Hz refresh rate, but of course, the S20 Ultra is only at Full HD+, whereas the S21 Ultra is on Quad HD. So let me launch and to benchmark real quick here, guys.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go.
So those are the benchmark scores I got, guys. S20 Ultra with 541,162. It actually hit a max of 37.7 degrees, and the S21 Ultra, a bit disappointing. I was expecting a bit of a higher score. It hit 593,641, and it actually got to a toasty 39.7 degrees. They both lost 5% on their battery, so which isn't too bad. I'm going to be coming up with a series of Antutu benchmark tests, and I'm going to be doing it at different resolutions and different refresh rates and see if I can get a higher score out of the S21 Ultra. I think one of the last things I'd want to discuss here is that would you want to buy this phone? If you actually came from the S20 Ultra, in my opinion, I'd want to upgrade to the S21 Ultra just because of the problems that I've been having with the cameras on this phone. But if you already have something like the Note 20 Ultra, then camera wise there's not much of a difference, and looking at the benchmark scores, there's not much of a difference as well in performance. If you have the budget for the S21 Ultra, you do have a couple of alternatives at the price range. So you've got Samsung's own Note 20 Ultra. For that price, you can also get Apple's iPhone 12 Pro Max. The Note 20 has native S Pen support, so you don't have to have a separate case to store your S Pen. And it also has micro SD card support. So if those two features are important to you, then the Note 20 Ultra is a better buy. But if you're after the future-proof S21 Ultra and you're looking for more of a long-term investment, the S21 Ultra is your phone. The iPhone 12 series has better night performance overall. Some might argue that it is the best night mode performing phone in the market right now, and once I get my hands on one, then I can probably test it out. But if you don't have the money to burn though, and you don't need super zoom, you can actually go for the lower end S21 or the S21 Plus. You can also opt for the regular iPhone 12. Another good option would be the OnePlus 8T. It has speedy software and super fast charging. But if your budget is not that high, you can actually opt for the S20 FE or the Fan Edition. It lacks super zoom, it doesn't have future network support, but it should have everything that you're going to probably need right now, and at a fraction of the cost. Though with that said, I still feel that the S20 Ultra can be a good investment, and it should serve you well for the next couple of years. So with that said, let's end this quick video here, guys. I'd like to hear your thoughts on the comment section down below. Let me know if this S21 Ultra is a piece of tech that you want to get. But until then, like and subscribe, hit that bell icon notification, and see you all on the next one.